What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Before we start the video, just want to remind you guys real quick, go click that support button, support your boy. We're over 5,500 supporters now, and I'm sending out 3 big codes to you guys every single day. So make sure you are supporting to get those codes, take advantage of it, get yourself more golds, some more shadow traces, and we have additional codes coming for this season, and obviously the following season we'll have even more. The support program is free, guys. It's easy for you. If you plan to spend, you support me, I support you either way, even if you're free to play or not. So go click that support button, and without further ado, a major bug I found in WOBL I want to share with you guys, plus how to build the ultimate Mirei. Let's get into it. What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. All right, folks, we got ourselves a guide here that I want to do for everybody because a lot of people are struggling with this, and that is how to build the ultimate Mirei, the stats you want to look for, how you want to build her, how much MP she needs, how much attack she needs, how you want to use her, how you want to play her, etc. Right? Remember, this underage katana user is the second best DPS in the game and should not be ignored for sure. Even though WOBL for Baron is ending, there's still going to be a lot of people going up to it, wanting to finish it, and she is going to be the key to finishing some of the hardest content in there, including Kaiselian and of course Methys. So let's talk a little bit about that, how to build her, how to use her. Now real quick before I start this though, I am having a pretty big bug right now in WOBL. Just want to show you guys if it's still happening. Let's see if it's still happening. If not, great, we'll be able to use her. But you guys can see she's right there. I'm going to start this fight and it becomes a little bit of an issue. You'll see what happens here very shortly. I might have to restart the game, but this is the 3rd time it's happened now. So see if it happens again. Can I move around this time? Nope. And look at that. See, nothing works. You guys just saw there, Baron popped up. Methys just comes at me like this. The skills are all messed up. Nothing seems to work. I can't move my mouse. Game just freezes. And this just continues going cyclical every single time. I'm not sure what's going on. This is the first time this has ever happened. So if you're experiencing this, this is a pretty damn big bug. So I won't be able to show you here how to use her, unfortunately. So we're going to have to use other content to do so. But at least I'll be able to show you guys how to build her properly. And hopefully this will help some of you guys use her correctly. So without too much effort here, I'm going to go ahead and close my game down. I'll be right back. All right, guys, now that we've gone over the bug, I will show you guys some Mirei build and how to do it properly. We're going to go over Mirei. I think she's literally still is one of the best characters. And this is my free-to-play account. So I'm going to show you guys my free-to-play. So it's a lot more relatable to most of you. If you go pay to win, this is still going to help you immensely. So check it out. And it's definitely worthwhile looking at. Okay. Mirei is a different unit altogether. She's one of the most unique units in the game, and there's a different way to build her than building everybody else, all right? And she revolves a lot around MP reduction, a lot around attack, and there's a certain way you play her and also use her, and also I'll show you guys the best team setup for her when it goes down to using her for WOBL or anything else, right? So, Mirei, wind unit, assassin, one of the best units in the game, second best DPS in the game by far next to Thomas, who was the first best DPS in the game for quite some time. All right, so let's talk about a little bit about her weapon. So her weapon is extremely valuable and is one of the best parts of her, and you definitely want to get it to A5 as soon as possible. I push mine to A10 because she's that damn good, right? So here's what the weapon does. When the user enters the stage, it instantly gives her power gauge by 60%. If you build her far enough, it's 100%, so don't worry about it. Increases her critical rate and critical damage of Kuro's Sword Technique Type 3, Wing of Night, and Kuro's Sword Technique Type 4 by 30%. So this is going to instantly allow you a big leeway on crit and crit damage because she has so much of it from her weapon on her main skills, and this is what you're going to be using most of the time anyways. So right away her crit requirement is much lower than everybody else's, so that's a good sign for you, and we'll talk what the number should be for her. Okay, now in regards to Mirei, because she is attack spec, we'll talk more about her stats shortly, but this is how you want to build her, and this is her rotation. Okay, the rotation is perfect. Ultimate instantly the moment you get in, basic skill attack 1, basic skill attack 2. The reason why you do these is you want to put them on cooldown as soon as possible, and then your regular basic normal strike with core attacks will reduce these in ultimate mode so you can cast them a lot faster. So what do you want to build first? Definitely basic skill 1 and 2. They are going to be your main damage dealing moves, and the core attack for sure. Basic attacks and ultimate last, because at the end of the day, the ultimate itself doesn't do much damage. It's just meant to get you into this state. We'll call it the Bankai state, the Raven state, in order for you to spam these skills as much as possible. For this rotation, it's perfect. Now her QTE also plays a pretty big role because it actually does recover some of her MP, and that's going to be one of the major things that make Mirei a lot different than everybody else. So you definitely want to QTE in with her. It's quick, it's efficient, and at the same time you gain back MP, which is very important. Okay, her support skill is actually one of the highest damage dealing support skills in the game. It doesn't offer any actual buffs or debuffs, but when it comes down to raw damage, I think it's the highest one by a pretty big margin, to be honest. So this for sure is going to be useful if you're just trying to do a DPS run and trying to get as much damage in as the support for SJW. So this rotation is perfect. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the skills. So this skill here called the Whereas the Kuro's Sword Technique Type 3, Wings of Night, the cool thing about this one is, number one, it does increase your power gauge if you are not in full power gauge mode of her, like ultimate. For some reason you QT'd out accidentally, or you don't have enough power gauge coming in because you haven't leveled up your weapon enough. This is the skill that's going to get your power gauge up. Also, this skill, when it goes into the Raven mode, which is her Bankai's ultimate, it also goes behind the opponent. So there's a lot of strategy behind using this skill at the right time to avoid a lot of easy damage, with especially with fights like Kaiselion, where he does the breath, or the one where he does his air move and he goes behind you. Once you cast this, you're right behind him and you continue just damaging and take no damage yourself. So a very, very efficient move to get away from damage, and also an efficient move to build your power gauge. So very important, and this is why this is the #1 skill you level up. This skill is just raw damage. It does a knockdown as well too, but for anything else, realistically, it's just raw damage, right? And you guys can see here they're the exact same percentage, so you want to do these back to back. This one first, this one second. Core attack is going to be her next one with her basic attacks. Her basic attacks are not strong, but they're really built to build up her power gauge. And in regular mode, it also reduces the cooldown of her ultimate, and we'll show you that as well. And again, showed you guys the support here, and then the QTE giving you guys more MP. And then of course, lastly, her ultimate. Her ultimate, again, is not meant to do damage. It does damage, but it's not really meant to do, it's not her like damage dealing ult. It's really meant to get her into possess mode. It does remove all debuffs from the whole team as well, including herself. And then when the user tags out or they have 10% or less MP, it removes the possession state. Unlike Thomas's Goliath, she does lose the state. Thomas does not, but she does if you leave her, okay? This also will reset both of these skills for you if they're on cooldown, and that's amazing. And then when the user uses their basic attacks up here, it also decreases the cooldown of these two skills pretty rapidly by 3 seconds. Also grants you super armor during duration of the effect, deals additional damage proportional to 20% for each attack, and also consumes 3% of the user's max MP. Now, again, MP is a massive part of her kit. We're going to talk about that. So let's go over each one of these. A lot of people seem to not want to read this long text, but this long text here is probably the most important part of her kit. And again, it's all around MP. So when the user has 66% or more of their maximum MP, it applies the Kuro's Darkness. Now, Kuro's Darkness increases the user's attack by 4% for every additional 150 MP up to 40%. So this here is huge, guys. Her MP equals her attack, as well as attack obviously equals her attack. So her MP plays a major role here, right? And when you have Kuro's Darkness, also increases the damage of her 2 techniques by 30%. So this is at A0. Very important. So what's the MP number you want to look at? We'll talk more about that shortly, okay? Now, A1, while the possessed effect is active, this is her ultimate, it increases the user's critical hit rate and critical hit damage by 20%. So remember how that her weapon gave you 30%? You now have an additional 20 with A1. When the user uses Kuro's Sword Technique 3, Wings of Night, while the possessed effect is active, it applies the Deep Darkness. This increases the user's attack and critical hit rate by 12%, stacking up to 2 times. Insanity. And if Thomas didn't exist, this girl would still be owning the charts for DPS by far. All right, number 2, charges the user gauge by 40%. This is what I was talking about, right? Remember when you have that 60% of the weapon and now the 40% here? Well, you have 100% ultimate gauge right from the get-go. So A2 is incredible important for her. A3 used to be the sweet spot. Now you want to push to A5, okay? So when the user uses their basic attack or core attack, so these two right here, it charges their MP and power gauge by 1% and decreases the cooldown of the 2 skills by 2%, okay? Very important. Sorry, Kuro's Sword Technique lethal move, Moonlight. That's it's this one right here. Yeah, so this is what I was telling you guys before, right? It reduces the ultimate skill. So A3, very important. If you don't have A3, then that doesn't work. So if you do have A3 though, your ultimate will charge up faster, and also at the same time you'll get it on cooldown quicker. Okay, so very important. And then A4 increases Mirei's wind damage by 10% for every wind member on the team. So if you have Wu, Hansimi, and her, that instantly gives you guys the full 30% extra wind damage. So that scales very importantly with her because a lot of her attacks are going to be, actually every attack she has is elemental damage except for the 2 up here, right? I think this is wind damage as well. So every attack will be affected by this by 30%. So all the wind elemental damage will be affecting you by 30%. So that's a huge one. So if you run a full wind team, she does even more damage. And then lastly, A5. When possessed, the user gains the Raven's Confession, which increases the damage of both of those techniques by 80%. All right, these 2 techniques up here. Huge damage, right? So how do you build her stats wise? This is going to be the important part. You guys see my stats here, right? So first off, you do want to scale as much attack as you possibly can. So 30,000 is what I'm at. This is for free to play. This is pretty good. I used to have her at 32, but I sacrificed attack for some MP. Now, where does the MP really matter? Usually 2,800 is enough. if you're running a pretty high-end attack one. For me, 3,000 and above was better, just because I can stay in the Raven state much longer, or the possessed state much longer, and not worry too much about losing too much MP. But there's a second portion of MP that matters here, okay? But we'll talk more about that shortly. Going down to crit rate, you can actually have about 4k to 5k crit rate for her if you max her out to A5 and her weapons maxed out and not worry about crit rate. I have a overkill for a reason, so I just don't miss crits. It's non-stop crits for me. So you don't need 8,000, that's overkill. 4 to 5,000 is enough if you have an A5 version of her with an A5 weapon or an A10 weapon. 4k is more than enough. Crit hit damage could definitely be increased. This should be a lot higher, but again, because her skills and her weapon does boost her crit damage so much already as it is, it's not a necessity, but it should be around the 200 mark. I'm looking for the proper gear to raise that. Defense pen, I've got 20%. Damage increase, you want around 20%, so those two should be higher as well. Well, defense pen's fine. Damage increase definitely needs it. And then right here, the other one that matters so much is MP consumption reduction. This here is to avoid losing MP and staying in your ultimate much longer and staying within that 66% as much as you possibly can. So MP reduction is important. So if you look at my cores, you'll see here I've got additional attack, right, and additional MP. So this is to boost her MP, and you guys can see here, if you are going to use this core, make sure you use the Atrium Wrath Obsession so you get that increased attack by 5%. It has to be win for this passive to apply. And then of course right here I've got additional defense, again additional MP to boost my MP up. I could lose one of this one specifically if I wanted to and put damage increase, but I still find the MP to be a little bit more useful at the moment. So until I get better gear to get our MP up to 2,900-ish, I'm going to keep this one on, but I definitely want to switch it for either crit damage or damage increase. And then the last one here is additional HP, and I've got MP consumption reduction. Again, I want to reduce that MP as much as possible in terms of use, and that's going to help quite a bit in terms of building. This one can also be replaced if you have the MP reduction in gear. I don't, as much at least as I want, so that's what we're using right now. All right, now let's actually go in and see if I can use her. I'm going to try WOBL one more time and see if it actually works. It may not, and if it doesn't work, we'll just try a regular instance, and I'll show you guys how to use her there. Usually the main team you want to go with her is Wu, Hansimi, and Mirei, right? Because she gets that 3 bonus elemental, but in this case we can't use that because my Wu sucks, so I use Gunhee instead. So this is a great team here set up. Hansimi is built for Mirei because Hansimi recovers, she recovers MP, she gives more wind damage, and she gives attack. So she is literally built to be Mirei's second-hand command, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and use this team. I don't know if this is gonna work this time. If it does, great. If not, then we'll try an instance or something else that works, okay? Let's see if this goes through this time. Hopefully it does. And it's still bugged. Okay, so as you guys can see here, I don't know what's going on with WOBL. We're gonna go ahead and try an instance. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I'm back. Yeah, looks like the whole game is messed up. Let me know if anyone else is having this bug, because this is a pretty big one. Nothing is working except for the main screen, so I'm probably gonna have to reinstall the whole game, and hopefully this works. But yeah, I can't unfortunately show you Mirei's damage, but the build is perfect. Go check it out. What I can do instead is show you a live stream damage. So let me show you guys that at least. This is what's been going on with my entire game. This is on PC, by the way, not mobile. So if anyone else is facing this, let me know. Now, while we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a live stream and show you guys exactly what's happening with Mirei and how you want to use her and how you want to perform all of her skills. All right, so I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're on the live stream here. I'm going to quickly show you guys some of the gameplay. So here's Hansimi essentially performing her skills. Hansimi's purpose, realistic at the end of the day, is to give Mirei as much MP as possible. Okay, so there's Mirei coming in. I don't know if you guys saw, that was the QTE. That right there will give her MP back. And you guys see I went into the ultimate and instantly I did the first skill that puts her right behind the opponent. Remember when I told you guys that? Every time you do that, that puts you behind the opponent. Now watch the skills down here. I'm sorry, there's chat in the way. This is from the live stream. But you'll see every time I attack basic, look at that. The MP reduction instantly happens. And look, I went right behind the opponent again, doing that skill, right? And normally you would want to wait right there. I'm just currently in the midst of trying to get this done as quick as I can. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here as well. So here, again, you guys can see, right? Again, look, watch my basic attacks right there, look. And I go right behind the opponent there, dash out, do the skill. Now, this is what you essentially want to keep doing nonstop, is you want to continuously go behind the opponent as much as you possibly can, right? And that's going to push the damage out really quickly and avoid all the damage that you were supposed to be getting. This phase right here is tough for her because it does reduce MP. At the end of the day, though, this is I think POS 16 or 17 or something, or maybe 15, but on free to play. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that all your Mirei damage comes from those two skills and performing her ult. Now this run here specifically, I don't actually have a Mirei built with damage or MP reduction, okay? So when you're watching this run, watch for MP, okay? So I can't show you to you here, but look, watch this. Look how quickly her MP goes down. And this is at 0 MP reduction. Watch this. You guys will see that 97, look at that, minus 97 there just to stay in her state, minus 20, minus 97, right? So it's 100 something. When you have your MP reduction, that can go down to like 60. So it's a pretty big deal to have that MP reduction. So guys, make sure when you are using her, build her properly. I don't know if you guys just saw that right there. I went behind the opponent again. Look, there's another skill coming up right behind the opponent. Look, he's attacking, but I'm just sitting here attacking him instead, right? And going behind the opponent is so important, especially if you're timing it correctly. All right, folks, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're having that same bug. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.